Welcome to the war, kid.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon and this is Film Flare, where we discuss anything and everything that makes film and television great. So be sure to subscribe and let's talk about a great movie.
Harp, he's not like us.
You're up. You're commanding officer, and I'm gonna give you 60 seconds to deal with it.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Now, Netflix's new movie, Outside the Wire, is an action film set in the near future about a military drone pilot who gets sent off to a war zone to experience real combat after disobeying a direct order. And when he arrives, he gets paired with a top secret android officer to go on a dangerous mission to stop a nuclear attack.
Looking for Captain Leo.
You must have really messed up if they sent you to Leo.
Outside the Wire is your typical paint-by-numbers action film. It's got some bright spots, but unfortunately, it's also got a lot of room for improvement.
You're up. You're commanding officer, and I'm gonna give you 60 seconds to deal with it.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
The two main leads were great. Anthony Mackie has gotten pretty good at playing these superhuman characters, first in the MCU and then in Altered Carbon. And I felt like both of those characters kind of bled into this one at different moments. In this one, he plays Leo, a super advanced android tracking down nuclear weapons through a disputed part of Ukraine. And Damson Idris holds his own pretty well as Harp, the drone pilot who gets shipped off to the front lines to partner with Leo. And I actually did like the directing by Mikael Håfström, especially the action sequences. They were fast-paced and just chaotic enough to simulate battle, especially for a newbie like Harp. And I think the setting in the near future, less than a century away, was a really interesting choice. It's just far enough in the future to justify such an advanced android and the battle robots, but close enough to the present for the audience to understand without having to introduce a whole new suite of weaponry and tactics. Outside of Leo and the battle bots, everything feels super grounded and analog, just as it does today. And on a side note, those robots honestly look like what would happen if Boston Dynamics were given a contract by the DoD, which is something that feels like it could actually happen in the future. Now, the twist was easy to see coming and just a bit lazy, to be honest. The super intelligent AI goes rogue and wants to kill a whole bunch of people in order to save a whole bunch more by teaching humanity a lesson. It's something we've seen plenty of times before. The moral of the story was that war is bad and humans don't have enough compassion to stop killing each other. Which isn't wrong, but I'm sure a super intelligent AI could come up with a better solution that doesn't involve murdering millions. And that brings me to the biggest limiting factor of the movie, the writing. I just had a ton of issues with the story in this one. First off, the film's opening introduces us to a bad guy, but then the film never shows him to us until just before the final act. And when he finally does appear, we're supposed to automatically hate this villain who's only been alluded to in passing, but we also never get enough time to actually hate him because he's immediately killed off after just under 5 minutes of screen time. He felt entirely unnecessary, and I think he would have been more impactful as just the ghost story that everyone already believed him to be. The phantom that Leo used to manipulate everyone. But making him real takes away that deception factor and just bloats the movie with another excessive character and scene. And that's just the issue I had with a single character. Our main character Harp was clumsy, unprepared, and overwhelmed for just about the entire film. But then suddenly decides to become Mr. Action Hero at the end, taking on something that he himself described as smarter, stronger, and faster than him. In fact, he repeatedly keeps screwing up throughout this movie, yet his superior officers keep giving him more chances without him ever earning them or even proving that he could handle them. On top of that, this film is just chock full of morally gray characters. It felt like it couldn't decide who it wanted to be the bad guy, so it threw all of them at the wall to decide which one stuck, but then just ended up making the rest of them side characters with potential that never gets fulfilled. There really weren't any good guys in this movie, with everyone doing what they thought was right, but in the end being reduced to nothing more than pawns in someone else's game. Even our main character himself was doing nothing more than just going through the motions. Then there was an issue with the timing of this story. Most of the film felt like a semi-solid but complete movie culminating in the heist sequence. We know who the good guys and the bad guys were. Our protagonist made it through a bunch of obstacles and met a couple of interesting side characters along the way, leading up to the big sequence where they have to save some hostages and stop the bad guys from getting the nuclear codes. That sequence felt like a finale in and of itself, where the bad guys were stopped, Leo sacrifices himself for the mission, and the world gets saved from nuclear destruction. It's not a happy ending, but the plot is wrapped up, and our main character learns his lessons from both Leo and Command, and manages to become just a little bit more heroic.
Good job, Harp.
The movie could have ended right there, wrapped up in a neat little bow, but instead, the movie finds a whole nother act and a half to squeeze out, and the plot just gets a bit too muddled from there on out. And then there's the whole list of questions I had while watching this movie. Like, why did nobody decide to brief Harp on Leo so he would know how to deal with him? Or how did others outside of the military know that Leo was an android? Wasn't that highly classified within their own chain of command? Or how and why would Leo even know about his own failsafes? And why were they so easy for him to disable? This film really did have a lot of potential. There were complex characters and scenarios, real consequences to actions, and even growth and development. But I think the movie just tried to squeeze too much out of it and just ended up feeling bloated in the end. But what did you think of Outside the Wire? Let me know in the comments below. The film is available now for streaming on Netflix. But before you do that, please do be sure to give this a like and subscribe for more reviews like this. We've got new content coming out every week. But until next time, have a great day and don't forget to watch a great movie. Bye.
Welcome to the war, kid.
Scared for myself. Get away.